Excuse me? And excuse me, how are we charging our battery from the rain outside? Well, this is one way to find out you have a leaky roof. Hello everyone, and welcome back, once again, to Pacific Drive. And I think this is it. I think we have everything we need and we're ready to leave. And oddly enough, I'm finding that I'm not ready to leave. I don't know, I've just really grown attached to these characters, to this car, and well, maybe we'll even get to keep it when we leave, although insurance will be a pain. It just feels like there's so much we don't know, so much we haven't seen, so much we haven't done. The logbook is, you know, it's pretty fleshed out, but there's plenty more. And it does feel like the kind of thing that wants you to stay, that wants you to pick over it. There's so many things we never built, so many things we never messed with. And to be honest, I think part of that's deliberate. I think it wants you to play through this multiple times and really try different builds as you go. There's room for experimentation within a playthrough. It won't stop you from doing that. But the way you prioritize things will affect your path through the game, and I think that is just really fun design. Really encourages you to come back for more. But there is one thing that I don't want to finish this series without, and I want to leave this zone with the LIM shipped engine. And it's expensive. It's with materials that are not very easy to get. We need more Olympium, we need more of those magnets. The idea of rotating out parts, you know, it's definitely worth the investment because you save a lot on the repairables. It's pretty clear that that's what we were meant to be doing all along. Oh, wait, what's wrong with you? Fragile. That may have even been the case for a while, I'm not sure. But we might as well break you down and build another. Armor's cheap. Is that Morse code? Okay, well I don't know how to decipher that, but maybe somebody can. That must be important, right? I'm also maybe gonna take some scrap with me. I'm gonna go out there with the priority of scrapping as much metal as I can, so that when we get to the deep zone, we can just go on a spree of making magnets. We may not know how they work, but they are important to this technology. We're gonna build the plasma charger, because even though we do have a couple of battery jumpers, it should be a lot better. I really should have built it as soon as we started having power problems. It does take up a fair bit of space, but so does everything. And it's not that expensive. This is the kind of game where when you complete a run, you start to realize, like, all the things you could have done differently. It's like Subnautica in that way. But really, that just makes me more motivated to play, because it's not like I was ever, like, super struggling, so it wasn't frustrating. I think we'll actually build the anti-corrosive bumper, just so that we have some level of protection against that somewhere, and it is becoming an increasing issue. Same amount of health, so might as well stick that on there. And look, we've got a biological front to tank the hits on all of these things. And everything else is pure technology. If we look here, yep, right there, in the back left corner of the deep zone, there we are. There is a stupid dead end, which, you know, looking now, it appears to be the only one on the map, although presumably we can re-roll that. God, that still pisses me off. I'm thinking, if we want to open up more routes, we should probably go through here. There we go, that'll be a smokestacks biome. Only problem is we can't go back. We may be able to get magnets, but we definitely want to see some spires in the meantime. Thing is, their icons look so similar. I'm actually finding a lot on these highways. I don't know if they have more loot or what, but late game, they're a godsend. I'm actually bringing a whole lot of scrap metal with me in the event that we find one of these magnet devices. Because it's like, I've already, by that point, encountered the transmuters, and, like, every single one I looked at, they sucked, so I stopped looking at them. And now you tell me, oh no, these are actually essential resources in the late game? Oh boy, tunnels. No, there's a strange thing. Yeah, no, they're not just like lights sporadically along the walls. This is a light as if there should be an access door here, and there isn't. And something happened to one of my wheels already. But that's something that I really, really enjoy in sort of sci-fi horror like this, like you flickering, is those things where it's like, yes, this is based in technology. It is science which wrought this havoc. However, there are those occasional things that it's just we don't know, that we just can't explain. Something that makes it seem like there's something more. And that's not just me thinking like, oh, that's one way of interpreting some of what we're seeing. That is objectively how the game works. We know that they suppressed and really disliked people talking about the idea that there could be some intelligence involved in this. Well, only way out is through. Good thing we installed some more rad-resistant parts, huh? We had full battery coming out of there. I think the game doesn't actually check if the car is getting rained on. I mean, it must, because it's drawing these effects on our windshield. What are you? Hang on. There's something strange afoot. Oh, you're just a regular box truck. I was really disturbed by the look of that. Hang on, you're pinging something else? Oh no, you just count as a neon reef. It moved the thing over. Alright, what have we got inside you? Look at all this stuff. I wish I could take it all. And I can, so I will. These storage upgrades are amazing. That was a weird thing my trunk door was just doing. It took me a second to even register it. Wow. There's so many things we're on the lookout for here. It's good to have these random materials, really for anything, just for crafting in the field. But it's the big-ticket endgame items that we really want, and we've got to save our tool condition for those. The way you guys tend to line up, the way you form a procession. Like, I don't know what it is, your placement doesn't ever seem random. Sometimes it's like you're deliberately forming a roadblock, sometimes it looks like, well, like you were in the middle of something when I showed up. In the beginning of the game, I called one of your appearances like a strange procession down a dirt country road. It's just the thought that in the eerie darkness and the wind and the rain, when the zone is unobserved, that it behaves differently. And you guys are the most obvious example of that. Just imagining you guys shuffling along those roads in the middle of the night. And here we are. We are... oh no. Oh no. Anchor obstruction. Alright, well, we do have the radar on us. It's just... actually, no, wait. This is unstable. Isn't it? Can the roof radar find it? That's another question. Oh god. Yeah, I'm not sure it can actually. There's a lot of good resources here, but I want to make sure that we have what we need so we can jump when we have to. Oh, we've got something over there. So let's go. Yep, I see it. Alright, good. And this is unideal. Oh, and this is damaging us. Oh, here comes the whole crew, huh? We've got a pickpocket and 2 abductors. Well, this helps me against 2 of you. As for the rest, it's a little bit more complicated. We want to get up on that bridge. That's our easiest way through this whole area. Yep, there we go. This is why we should probably ignore resources like this. Oh wow, this whole thing is fenced in. An evac route. We can simply leave, but I'm actually not sure if we can simply leave. Oh, look at that absolute bait, being able to go down there, but it's all flooded. No, sir. Alright, it's actually not as bad as I was thinking, because we can drive out, and that will take us to the deep zone, so we actually have to do that anyway. It's just good to get so much unstable energy here. Actually, I just realized that might be the first unstable anchor we pulled. Spent so long trying to get at it, and now it's just like nothing. Alright, well, we're on another end of the map now. Let's see how this works. No, these things are like nowhere. For how much range this has, you would think you would be at least fairly close at all times. We've got a couple of returns in that direction. So, that's where we're going. Unfortunately, that's taking us right into a huge, crazy storm. So, worth it before going into the deep zone? It's all risk versus reward. That's how this game is, right? Oh boy, we're a real storm chaser now. Look at all this stuff, though. Yep. Technically we could, I guess. But it's not smart. Hang on. Those returns are all the way over there. Nah, screw it. We'll get enough. I can see enjoying this game, like, just for the thrill of the storm chase, you know? Going into these unstable zones deliberately so that you can do cool stuff like this. Or like that. There's another crash. It's in the rads. It's in the rads, but I'm tempted. Well, look, it's in the rads, but it's out of the storm, right? And out of the storm. Look how abrupt that is. Man. It's very deep in here, and it's only going to get worse, but it's on roads, so we can do it pretty quickly. There, right over there. Come on, we may lose parts doing this. We're so low. It's going to have to be a real in and out. Yep. Let me out. Go, 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 go. Immediately losing health. Take it all. Oh my god, this is so not worth it. This is, hey, look, that just barely reimburses us for what we, oh my god, this sucks. Oh, and here comes another one. Is that a consolation prize? 2 in one go, huh? I had no idea, this actually helps me, I had no idea they could be this absolutely awful. I assumed they were supposed to be like these high-risk, high-reward things. Turns out they're extremely high-risk, extremely low reward. And then you gotta sit there playing the inventory management game. Alright. Let's heal ourselves up a bit. And I'm taking everything and throwing it into the top bin. Just everything. Everything. Now, as for you. Where's that hatch? There we go. Payload. Garbage. It's just all garbage. Hey, look. Like I said, this can reimburse me for what I lose coming after it. All this repair putty. We got a blowtorch too. That's nice. Not worth it. Vehicle protection compromised. Yep. We have just barely come out of that without losing any parts. But what did we learn from that whole experience? We learned that payloads, unless you absolutely desperately need a ton of materials, are not worth the effort. And even if you do get something good, it's probably not worth the risk. I think we're gonna write those off from now on. We just got really lucky the first time around. But while we've still got some time here, we'll use some of our repair putty that we got for free. Look at us. And now some of these parts will never be in use again. I'm actually in astonishment that they can be that bad for how much you have to go through to get them. Anti-corrosive bumper probably saved us from losing parts there. Thankfully, the repair putty more or less completely fixed us, which is honestly kind of cool. We just need a mechanics kit to fix up that one wheel, and we're good to go. I guess we haven't lost anything in doing all this, but it certainly feels like we have. Certainly lost time. Now hold on. I'm looking at the things for this, and I'm seeing not recognized in the shape of a box truck. And that little grin on the side is making me even more nervous than when I noticed it before. There are magnetizers here. There are explosives crates. We need both. Although I guess not Olympian. Eerie darkness is also a treat. Thankfully, we've already got quite a lot of LIM energy, and we can get even more here. And the radar should be good for the rest. Wow, I'm sorry, we went from a lot of excitement to real creepiness. This is advanced darkness, because we've seen eerie darkness, but now it's in the deep zone. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little on edge. Thankfully, it's not highly unstable. Okay. These usually have some good goodies, so let's start tearing this up. I'm leaving the lights on as a source because I want to try out the cattle prod. Yep. And all the scrap metal we can get will be useful for when we find those magnetizers. Hello. Oh, it's one of you guys! Huh. I really wish I had seen that before we started healing all our stuff. You there. Now, why does the map screen consider you to be a different kind of thing? Box truck. Just a regular old box truck? How do you differ from the other ones? It never occurred to me that this would become a logistical nightmare. By the end of the decade, operations in the zone involved over 100 scientists, twice that in support staff and technicians, another 100 staff in engineering disciplines, and more than 2,000 military personnel. That last figure is particularly difficult to estimate. Oh, and trucks. Trucks all the time, rattling back and forth, moving gas, moving mechanical equipment, cabling, furniture. I guess we all need sofas, right? I'd have preferred a light rail network, at least more freight. But after those early incidents, it's like everyone is scared to get on any train within 100 miles of this place. That last incident, huh? Like they're cursed or something. So it's trucks all day and all night. You know what we brought to the zone? Traffic jams. And now? Now we're starting to move everything out again. Downsizing, they call it. Or just outright plundering abandoned equipment. We could scrap you, I guess. Oh, and singly and family, #1. Okay, what's that about? I did it! Singly and family hauling is back in business. Incredible. Just as our bills were due. Nobody was hiring us anymore. All these big companies hiring college students to haul trash on the cheap. But they had no finesse, no care. They were about to shut me out of my father's business of 5 generations without a second thought. But not anymore. My wife will be so pleased. We have to be in Washington by Monday. Then the government will tell us where to go. They say they'll pay us and provide a house and food for my entire family, my brothers, sisters, uncles, and their families too. Enough work for all of us. We are truly blessed. I guess in these situations, that old phrase holds true. We're from the government and we're here to help. Still don't know what you guys do. But I like what you have. You can get 2 of these things right here. God, there's so many. Yep. God, just imagine we're running back and we just hear the rev of the engine and see the lights turn and start driving away from us. Don't even think about it. You decided to taunt me with the thought. Things seem okay so far. We don't really need that much of this stuff, so it's not a priority anymore. It's just that we didn't have any for most of the game, so I'm kind of trained to covet it. There we go. We can finish off our scrapper on you, I suppose. Ooh, there's a decent amount of fuel, too. Yep, nope, we're doing that. Come on, come on. I know there's an upgrade that allows you to pump faster. I never took it because I figured, you know, why use resources when I can use time? Well, here's one of those reasons why. Yep. Sometimes time is exactly what you don't have. 100 power, we'll keep that in mind. We could get back onto the road. I guess this used to be a road. I was gonna say we can use this to get to where that all is. There's buildings ahead, but it's through all this soup. Yep. I mean, the thing is, after you look at the mid-zone, you start to think, oh my god, what's going on in the deep zone, especially after reading that thing about a caterpillar-like thing easily scaling the wall. But then you get here, and to find almost nothing, I guess that's our biggest confirmation that it is, well, it fits at least our conception of destructive. Ooh, this is a nice looking port in the storm, even if it is a bit radioactive. Actually, what if we follow these rail tracks? Oh, so much glare on the screen. There's a tunnel going through the mountain. But there's like a whole cluster of high-value buildings on top. Oh, I see. I was just thinking, what if we just see a ghost train, like the light coming down the other way? And then a train actually does appear right on the edge of my view. Ow. Yeah, this thing is wider than you think. Is it worth it? At this point, yes. We've got our shield. Let's just take it. You know? Okay, we can avoid it. We can go around. Alright, here's our dirt road, I take it. We may have to drive off a mountain if things get hairy in a hurry. Now I'm really reminded of you're on the fastest available route. Even in the dark, things felt at least somewhat safe as long as there was pavement under us. No more. It's gonna be a long, long trek to the top of this mountain. This could damage us right here. Yeah, every time I pass under these large pillars, it's like the same feeling as going under an overpass. And then you realize, nope. It's so strange to think that these aren't the remains of structures, or maybe they're reconstituted from the remains of structures. But really, I don't think that much would have even ever been built here. Although, as I've said, I do think there's some shade of imitation. It is interesting how even those who have been here the longest don't seem to really know. Oh boy. Oh, this place is a potential gold mine. I wanted to save the magnetic hammer. I think we can go ahead and just go for it because we're not going to be getting any Olympium here. Yeah. But I want to see what's up in that tower. Yep. Red lights still shining in the dark. And something that wants flares for swamp coral. No, not gonna happen. At one time, I might have actually made that trade. There we go. Oh my god. Well, rads or no, we've got to start looking for those magnetic guys. Back around to here, and alright, I was promised Magnet Build-A-Bear. You told me it was here. So let's go a little bit farther down the road, preferably not stopping on the geysers. There we go. Up and around. Oh no. That was a pickpocket. What did you get? Oh, you got the resource radar. Okay. Well, I'm gonna need that back from you. I don't know if you'll come back for more later. Like that. The thing is, like, I was wondering, why do they do this? Like, if they're not even gonna fight for the stuff that they take, especially since taking stuff is apparently so rare. But then you gotta remember, like, they're not animals trying to survive, they're objects, or at least that's how it seems. I think you could call them a new form of life, but they're not in the same way that we know it. They just have their thing that they do and do it. Kind of like me. Anomaly Studies number 4. Briefly, a widespread blight. This tiny flying anomaly would bore into oil or gasoline tanks to seemingly drink from them. Rust-colored, about the size of a horsefly and fast-moving. These were common through the summer of '62. Though tougher than an insect, most could be swatted or stomped on. Sightings are now extremely rare, but occasionally still logged. I wonder if that's actually something we can end up dealing with. Sometimes the doors just go wonky on us. But yeah, we're going to want to use the time we have to really make as many magnets as possible. We have a ton of scrap. Suppose we could refuel while we're at it. That's a secondary objective. We've got so much of this stuff, so if we do that... Lots and lots of LIM magnets, thank you very much, sir. And some scrap metal, that's our change. So if I put in everything all at once, I hope that doesn't mess me up. It has not messed me up. This might be going for a while. Okay, well, we've solved this mystery, and taking with us was definitely worth it. We also scavenged a bunch along the way. Oh my god, it just never stops. Think of the things we'll be able to build. And absolutely no... Oh no, there's still... Excuse me, don't rip me off. Do you just have like a hard limit at a certain point? Oh, is that panel down there? Is that like your energy or something? Okay, I didn't realize you guys were limited. That's alright. We got 30 out of you. That's still very good. Just in the name of safety margins, and so we don't end the series without doing it, let's try and jump the battery. Yeah, I mean, it's not fast, and it's not efficient, but we can do it, and it's just kind of better than the regular jumper. So that's a thing. Now, this is interesting. I was thinking we'd pull back and take the exit portal on the top right, but this one down here might actually be more efficient because it's on the road. Some twists and turns, but nothing we can't handle. Right after we fix the random damage to our wheel again. I mean, look, we're gonna do it back at the shop anyway. I figure we might as well do it before we run. Got the resources. Alright, let's dial it in. Let's go! Keep you guys out of my way. Oh no, no, not you, not you, not you. Well, that complicates things. The pickpocket right there. Yep. This thing on. I said this thing on. We've got this. Deep zone escapes are fast, but so are we. Hello again, crossing. Yep. As long as we prepare, these LIM magnet dispensers can be very much an on-the-way sort of thing. Go, go, go. And we've more or less made it. We've yet to hit a tour bus, but I imagine it's not something we want to test. Yep. In we go. We got so close to the outside of that thing, I was beginning to worry we could actually hit the rocks or just pass through.
Otto was not a fan of my gateway theory. I can't imagine why. It's just shooting things up into the oscillosphere and back. No big deal.
Hoppy, I have liked you more and more as this has gone on. You describing literal launches of anomalous sciences the way a teenage girl would be mad at her parents not letting her go to the mall. We can build a circuit board to get us the advanced antenna. There we go. Now we've just gotta climb onto the roof to place this long metal object in a thunderstorm. Whee! Yep. And there we go. I don't fully understand what it does, but apparently it helps me. I'm actually looking at these upgrades, and some of them, while cool, are not really worth replacing the radar or the roof rack. However, I just noticed this one, the biolantern. This device just about contains and harnesses swamp coral, the zone's strange flavor of bioluminescence. It isn't radioactive, it isn't corrosive, and it probably isn't even sentient. Probably. Look at that durability. 22,800. Whoa, that's actually really, really cool. And it does project a decent distance. Okay, we're keeping that. Athletic stimulation station. Yeah, this is more in like the decorative side of things. I never found it worth the resources, but I imagine what we're gonna find here is nothing more than a common basketball hoop. And we get a ball. Okay, well, obviously. Yep. I really need to work on my throw. Yep. Oh, come on. Yep. Oh, my God. It's always just gonna bounce. I'm hoping that I just hit the recharge right there, and that wasn't something done by the basketball. Yay! You pretty much have to do it from straight up, because if it bounces at all, it's flying right off. We're also going to finally build the rapid refill, because at a certain stage, there's really no reason not to. There we go. It looks like the same thing but gutted, although the pump itself is different. So I guess it's not something that works in the field, but still mighty useful. Okay, the place we're going, intense radiation, which sucks. But it's got LIM magnetizers, it's got explosives, and it's got Olympium. And it potentially opens a path along a highway into where we're going, so I think worth. Let's put this thing to the test, shall we? Ooh, it's almost too bright. But it should last a very long time. I'm really here because I spotted some electronics. And you want to have the staples so you can make road repairs. Now, the real use case for this is to place on the ground while we do stuff like this. And we've really got to find some duct tape in here. If we don't, we can't do any of the things we need to do. Look at that. God, hearing your calls in the swamp at night is quite a thing, huh? Theories number 4. Take a good long look at that zone. All those botanists, biologists, chemists. Arda is using our backyard as a testbed for terraforming. They're reshaping our planet right under our noses. They're changing the oxygen content of the air. They're training giant electric moles to magnetize the soil. They've got robot dogs, and everyone who lives in there gets to enjoy it first. The rest of us dumbos don't know what's coming, and one day, when they pull that lever, they'll change this whole planet. But I'm ready for them. I know how to protect myself. Mayonnaise. You know what, Stuart? I like you. You're not like the other people here in the trailer park. Alright, this place is high instability now, so we've got to make this quick. We might stop at something like a LIM magnetizer, but other than that, it's in and out, really. Oh, let's take you into the tunnel. Well, that's problematic. I don't really feel confident getting through there. Hang on. Controlled demolition. I don't know why. For some reason I thought that wouldn't work on the bigger guys. But the smaller one next to it was the backup plan. Hey! You even dropped thermosap. We'll do a scan when we get out over here. If there's a magnetizer, we'll take it. But if not, don't worry about it. Oh, here we go. Some explosives. We needed those. Yep, you go away. Ooh. Wait, are you something new? Hang on. Radiant Dredge. Private field notes. Dr. Everett, date unknown. It's my belief now that few and perhaps even none of the anomalies intend harm. They don't mean to hurt anyone, and while some display behaviors perhaps consistent with chasing or tracking, I don't think this is predatory. Of course, I don't mean to dismiss the many, many fatalities that we've now documented. I think the evidence shows that most are through accident or misadventure. The unfortunate consequences when one engages in dangerous discovery. Others are, I'm afraid to say, negligence, or failure to follow clear instruction. It is without doubt that some anomalies are simply much more dangerous, even destructive than others, much as a trampling elephant is more dangerous than a frightened mouse. Greater destruction does not imply greater intention. Interesting. As for you guys, yep. We pick you up, and we toss you. And then, do we get your stuff, or do we need to find one of you not doing that? Oh, I wouldn't eat that, buddy. Did not have the outcome I was kinda hoping for. Oh god, come on, nope. Yep. And I'm guessing that's big damage, right? Oh my god. I really don't care if there's intention. Yeah, wow, that completely annihilated our rear. Oh my god. I hate that there's things that can harm your car when you're not there, especially since you don't have much choice in where you get out. Alright, let's fire this thing off again. Maybe we can find more of these crates? Not really. And back again. At least we can see now. We've got intense radiation to look forward to. But no real danger as far as not being able to jump out. And here comes the charge, which is good. Because we're gonna need to scan. I can't overlook the need for explosives. But I hate being so reliant on random spawns. Wow, it may not be unstable, but it sure feels like it. It's the deep zone for you, I suppose. Oh, what? Are you unhappy that these off-road tires are going off-road? Look at this. Look how close these are. Oh, there we go. We've got some Olympium. I want to eat all of that we can. Unfortunately, it's just not common enough. You don't need a tremendous amount, but you need more than what we've been getting. Let's get this. I do really enjoy, though, how whenever you get out of your car, it really feels like, well, I mean, it should say something that I'm yelling over it right now. That's all we've got. How much was that? 9. Not terrible. Here we go. As luck would have it, a LIM magnetizer right here. So let's go straight to our roof rack and grab a whole bunch of this. It's not going to be able to take it all. That's all right. You. Okay, there's your last bit of energy depleting. You had 2 wheels. Yep, taking rad damage the whole time. And that's all. Not a bad trade whatsoever. Another 30 magnets. In you all go. Oh, this healing is so good. Especially now that energy is health. That effectively means that rain is energy is health. But you always feel the most alive in this game in the bad weather. There's Olympium ahead and Olympium behind. I'm not sure if the one behind is the same vein that we were just at, but it's still worth checking. We've still got plenty of time. This is exactly what we needed. You. And right next to an Arta truck as well. That's convenient. Let's see. Oh, there's a whole lot of things. Put you away. We even got some explosives. Which reminds me, we have not seen more of those guys. I'm just looking for more of these crates. I know that you guys were here before. Yep. More Numa. Please. Please just spawn crates. The mailman, number 1. There is evidence for continued network degradation and/or interference. Of 607 packages received this week, 7 arrived late in a fashion that cannot be explained. 4 packages were sent exactly 1 year earlier. However, these packages had already been received, meaning these were duplicates of some kind. 3 packages were mistakenly dated. They were stamped with a date exactly 1 year in the future, and contained messages irrelevant to their recipients or current events. I can only conclude that these were pranks of some sort, and will append these to my report about misuse of our sensitive and most vital infrastructure. I would start sending lotto numbers. 100%. And I see another magnetizer back that way. Oh, by contrast, up here we have a transmuter which can turn magnets into rubber. What an equal and valid trade. Like, is there some way to make this mechanic useful? Fog's coming in, storm's coming in. We've still got time, but like, yeah, this is really, really annoying me. This wheel just like broke again even after I just fixed it like a second ago. Please just give me more explosives. It's all I need. Alright, well, we found a lot of Olympium. That should carry some upgrades. I'll have left over at least. But I need like a good amount of explosives. I'm just not finding it. Okay, you're blown out. Screw this thing. I mean, this is why we have the spare. And put you on. I literally just fixed this thing, by the way. I could try going for these trucks and hope that they had them, but we officially just got put on a time limit. Oh my god. This is actually, like, really aggravating design here. That you're so dependent on this, like, rare spawn or whatever. Mainly because it's something that, like, you have no control of, and with the way runs work in this, if we don't get this here, we can't just, like, pop over and do this. It's gonna be, like, another hour of my time just to get a couple of these, when I could have moved on otherwise. Oh, there's some. There's some. Oh, there's one. There's a box. There's a box. Damage to vehicle, irrelevant. Come on, where is it? I just saw it. Go, a couple more. I still think I need just a little bit more, though.
All that zone go off.
Yeah, great. I am pretty pissed, not gonna lie. Like, this stuff just doesn't spawn, and we need it to do this. Friendly dumpster, will you please? Oh, now you're dispensing chemicals when I don't need them. Lab reports number 6. I need your help. Read through the data. Look at the numbers. I've checked every equation, every result. The batteries were consistent. The quality of the materials were pure. And yet, nothing on paper could really, truly explain the disparity in the results. The fact is, the materials in Chamber A were exposed for longer than those in Chamber B, despite the experiment running for the exact same amount of time. Please, I beg you. I'm at my wit's end. Help me find an explanation. And hurry. We've already deployed a dozen setups like this. They're already running out in the field. I fear if we don't get ahead of this, it's going to be bad. Time isn't objective here. That's what everything we've been seeing points to. We haven't really experienced it on our scale unless maybe we have. That's something to think about. Like, all I'm saying is, what if we get out of here and it's 100 years in the past or in the future? Actually, going to the past would be kind of sweet because with this thing I could do some Army of Darkness shenanigans. More reading. Mailman number 6. Well, at least we get to see the conclusion. I did it. I crawled inside. I've seen where they lead, where they go. It makes so much sense now. I found it between junctions 5A and 6C. Sometimes you pass right through like normal. Other times you come back where you started, but in the opposite direction. But you never turned around, and there are no loops that could have led you there. And when that happens, sometimes you get a glimpse. A red light in the distance. It's waiting, looking for something it lost a long time ago. Reaching out. I'm certain that's the answer to it all. And I'm staying in here until I find out what it is. And it's entirely possible you're still in there. You named junctions, but you said between, so presumably it's not something we can actually find for ourselves. And maybe that's a good thing. And just think, your whole obsession, your whole journey into whatever you are now, it all started with some odd mail. Alright, with this, we should have all the energy we need to jump out, or close to it at least. Or like nothing. That could... Oh, okay, there we go. Thought I saw... Move. Here's boxes. Do not drag those close to my car, please! My god. Well, at least the limb shield is doing its job. Now, can we find what we're looking for? Well, these things show up anywhere. I think it's possible that the others show up only near those quarry things. So let's just run a scan. Yeah, not that I actually expected to show anything of use. Let's go. Keep an eye out, of course. Okay, Arta truck. Maybe I can get what I need from here. Like, hopefully. I don't think these anomalies affect me, do they? There's the explosives we need. Okay, thank you. Finally, my god. And look, a crate, just at that moment. Thank you. So now we've even got extra. You know what would have been cool if one of those had shown up literally any other time prior to now?
Of the witnesses to the CRM disaster that are still alive, most aren't willing to speak to me. But one eyewitness account remains the most damning report of what happened. Meet Lou Arganza. She was 9 when she last saw her parents alive. You were born in the zone.
Yes. Born and raised in Sierra Town until it wasn't a town anymore.
Lou was evacuated from the zone on February 13th, 1973. Can you share what you remember from that day?
Sure. I was at a week-long wilderness camp. This yearly thing my elementary school would put on. They'd throw the kids into the woods, show us how to pick apart animal dropping, sketch birds, things like that. It was my favorite thing as a kid. But that year, I really didn't want to go. Something called the LIM Fair was coming to Sierra, and I begged my dad to let me stay. He told me I could see it the following year. But that obviously didn't happen.
Very haunting to hear those words over what we know it became. Do you really... You spawned this Arta truck inside a rock. That's it. I've had it. My supervisor told me to record all the pneumatube problems as another anomaly and get back to work. No one else cares about solving this problem. No one cares about the tubes like the tubes like do. So I'm taking things into my own hands. Consider this my official resignation. After 15 years as the pneumatube technician, I found my true calling. And going in, I'll figure out what's happening in there if it's the last thing I do. It'd be more exciting if we didn't already get the ending. Lab reports 2. It appears that a combination of the correct conductive materials, limb-enhanced electromagnetic induction, and a bombardment of electrons can substantially accelerate radioactive decay. So far, the figures suggest we can now accelerate the decay of U-235 by as much as 8%, while R-222 is accelerated by as much as 12%. We remain cautiously optimistic. I don't think it's unrealistic to expect to reach values as high as 20, which has enormous implications for the future treatment of nuclear waste. Not to mention what we can do to mitigate the changes we're experiencing in the zone. Alright, let's take you out, throw you on the ground. Scavenging the stuff for this has not been a fun experience, I'll be honest. We should finally have it. The LIM shipped engine. Horrible gas mileage, but extremely fast. There we go. It looks a lot like the old one, but with a friend in the back corner there. This thing is actually spawning just like tools now. Bio flare gun. Alright, well, don't know if we'll use that, but we have it now. So here's how the final stretch is going to work. We're going to take the highway up to the D1 zone here, then to A4, and straight into the final part. It doesn't look like it's going to make this easy for us, but I don't think we have a choice. And, well, we've never been more prepared. Everything is like new or fully repaired parts. We've got all kinds of repairables and spare tools in here. I'm gonna make some more before we go. We're ready. We're ready to go. So, as we leave the garage for possibly the last time, let's see how it runs. We might have some quirks we need to fix first, because this thing just pulled out in reverse. When the radio is off, the car inverts direction. Alrighty. When the wipers turn right, the dome light is toggling again too. At this point, I'm just committing to solving all the quirks. Now when the headlights are off, the wipers move slow. That's been persistent, actually. An electrician's kit and a light replacement kit, okay? And there we go, a quirk-free car. And no achievement, I guess, but whatever, that's not really the point at the moment. Let's just make sure she's fully charged, and now, for possibly the last time, let's get this show on the road. Wow, that's got some jolt to her. You know, I'm realizing that now taking this highway is something of a final walk. A final goodbye, I guess, through the entire zone, going through each area. It's been really weird to do all this scavenging in this part without anybody really on the radio. Somehow it feels even emptier knowing that Tobias couldn't. But we're gonna carry on his memory, just like Francis asked. You know, this game is really something else, isn't it? It's not really like anything else I've played, and it makes really bizarre choices for what kind of game it's trying to be. To the point, it almost feels like driving a car with a mishmash of quirks. But it works, mostly. I mean, you wouldn't expect a game like this to rely more on scavenging than driving. I almost think that's kind of to its detriment. But then you also wouldn't expect it to have this much emphasis on characters. You would think maybe in that case that there would be a little more story, but that's really just down to documents and stuff. I don't know. You wouldn't nearly expect this much characterization from a game like this, and yet it's all just so well done. Everyone feels so fleshed out. The voice acting is magnificent. For people who you never physically interact with, like, it's so cool how it's able to have these ups and downs in the story, these greatest triumphs and darkest hours. In cases like this, sometimes literally changing on a dime. It's weird, though, that a game so based on exploration, or at least presumably on exploration, has procedurally generated environments. And so there's not really any exploration to be done, except in a handful of story-based areas. So that's what I mean when I say that, like, this is a very weirdly mixed bag that is almost as disjointed as the zone itself. Something that's really special to me, though, is how much of a character the driver actually feels like, even in spite of not being voiced, in spite of there not being any decisions to make. And it's literally, like, it's a cool example where the player character is characterized through the other characters. Because we act as sort of a hope bringer. You know, Oppie had given up hope, as had Francis. Tobias was just kind of living the life here. And we are the ones who changed them. It was our discoveries, it was our ability to overcome these challenges that kind of re-inspired them to restart their work. There is one more use guys right here.
The LIM Fair. Arda advertised it as a good old-fashioned small-town
Get-together. A miniature world fair of sorts for the hardworking government employees and their families that lived in Sierra Town. The flyers and brochures I've gotten my hands on promised all manner of things mundane and fantastical. Kiss your low-tech washing machine goodbye. Take home this LIM nebulizer and zap your clothes and diapers clean. Why break your back trimming your lawn when LIM tech can transform your grass into something more? This push to get LIM tech into the homes of zone residents, housewives in particular, was a deliberate and strategic move. The cynical reason, and most popular interpretation, is that it was a PR push to rehabilitate LIM tech's image. By 1973, there'd been enough reports of radioactive fallout and inexplicable disappearances that suspicion of what Arda was doing was high.
Where were you when the Sierra incident happened? At base camp about 20 miles out of town. The sirens went off during dinner. We barely had time to wonder whether it was a drill or real before the shockwave rolled through. Luckily, we'd been through the disaster procedure days before. We dove under our tables to take cover. We were just kids, and at first thrilled for the drama unfolding in real time. It was hours before Arda came to extract us. By that time, we'd scrambled up onto a hill to signal for help and saw the
Take your time.
It's been 20 years and I still can't go anywhere near a county fair of any sort.
What did they tell you had happened?
Nothing. They were all business. Hurrying us onto the trucks with boarded up windows. We weren't even allowed back in our cabins to pack our belongings. They breezed us out of the zone. It wasn't until days later, when most of us were deposited in an orphanage, that we learned that our parents died.
As we just got to hear, it also indulges in every possible feeling. From creepy like this to comfy like the country roads of the outer zone. Sometimes we get the excitement of scientific discovery. Sometimes we get the horror at having it go wrong. Sometimes we have to wonder whether it was all worth it. And sometimes we get to see the real human cost of what these almost alien-like organizations were doing over the heads of normal people who just wanted to go about their lives. Things are certainly getting a bit rougher as we get through here. Fallen section of pipe.
Maybe kidnap me. It's gonna be okay.
I don't even know how to address that in its mundanity. That sounds like maybe the worst thing we've heard. Alright. Here we go. Oh yeah, here's where I abandoned the last run because it railroaded me in. I left before we heard any dialogue. Hopefully it won't screw that up. Alright, I need the Liberator, right?
This is really it, huh? The end of the road. Soon we'll finally see for ourselves what caused the mass hallucination, and what Tobias and Alan died for, and whether it was all worth it.
I suppose so. Wait, wasn't I supposed to use that on this? Didn't it always tell me that I was supposed to use the Liberator on this thing? Okay, well, I guess it's a good thing we can teleport to the other side of my old wreck. No, seriously, what is the deal with this? Yes, that's a checkpoint. Maybe it's because it's right on the checkpoint that this doesn't work? I don't know. It doesn't matter now. Actually, it looks like it's just a straight shot to the end. Oh, and our engine is already acting up. Overheating, we need a mechanics kit. Well, got great news for you. That is how you fix LIM tech. There we go. It feels like I just started this series, but it's certainly a long one. I probably have like over 30 hours at this point. Granted, I'll have cut like a tremendous amount.
Francis,
Yeah?
thank you for trusting me when you had every reason not to. Getting to this point together with you, it makes me feel like my old self again.
It's been an honor to watch you work, Dr. Turner.
This is the well. Oh, let's drink full and descend.
These gamma readings, are they real? I can't even begin to guess what could be outputting this much radiation.
Some sort of energy reservoir, a massive fission reaction, or a...
Or what? Rounding that corner after seeing it, I can't help but be reminded when I first arrived and saw the outer wall. This game really knows how to frame things up as I'm going towards that and all of these. It all radiates from here. What a thumbnail this would be if I didn't want to spoil it. Let's make sure we're in tip-top shape. I'm gonna charge that battery up. My life might depend on it. Let's go.
It's opening. Godspeed, driver.
We were made for this, literally.
All right, driver. You're almost to the threshold. Remember, Francis and I have got your back. Once you get that car to the well, we'll keep the gamma ray burst under control for as long as we can. Whatever happens, whatever state you find yourself in, the arc device will be your safety net. Use it. Get back to us, you hear me?
Ready when you are, driver.
It looks just like the escape portals. Hopefully it's ours.
Hoppy? Hoppy!
Did it work? What's the energy output? Damn it, Alan, I'm fine. Light nearly blinded me. Can you read it?
Yeah, let me see. 500 kilojoules? Hoppy, what is this?
The future. I call it LIM waves.
We're hearing the very beginning of all of this. Stored right here. Oh! Is this moment locked in time, or does it want to witness?
Coffee delivery.
Alan, gosh. Is it that time already?
So, about leaving on. I was thinking, how about by Christmas?
Yes, maybe. I just need to solve this instability issue. I loathe to think about leaving the Olympic Peninsula like this.
There's always more to do.
I know. I'm sorry.
And I love you for it. I'm just wondering if you'll really be able to walk away from all this. It's okay if you can't.
You abandoned the world to work here beside me. Fair is fair.
LIM Tech is a world-changing discovery. Your world-changing discovery. Fairness isn't even a consideration.
We agreed to have children, and I'm not having them in this hellhole.
Good, because I'd love to have 8.
Then I hope you're ready to carry at least half of those yourself.
I love you.
I love you.
I think Oppie's state is Francis's future if we don't succeed in this. I mean, just look at what this does to people. And it's partly of their own doing, but you can't blame the pursuit.
Tobias, the movers are here. Wait, why aren't you packed?
I ain't going.
The evacuation orders...
Evacuation orders can go to hell. We leave, and we never see the inside of these walls again. All the things we've been investigating, the ripple, the echoes from the swamp, they'll all fade away. I'm gonna stay and chase down these stories, wherever they take me.
Tobias,
Stay here. With me.
Francis wanted to leave. Imagine the guilt he must be feeling at this point for not insisting. And maybe a bit of resentment. Maybe a bit of resentment toward Tobias for not leaving. I mean, that is a selfish decision, really. He wanted to see where this leads, and it's presented as like a good, happy-go-lucky thing, but it cost them both. And Francis, what he wanted was never even a consideration.
you here to quote?
I'm here to deliver the committee's decision. You have been found guilty of doctoring experimental data. This action is in clear violation of Artist scientific integrity. Judgment has been rendered. You may stay and work, but your clearance will be lowered to level 3.
So I'm to be a glorified flash cleaner.
Take it as a win. You could have been court-martialed instead.
Yeah,
I'm sure you would have liked that much better. What I like has no bearing on this decision. See you on Monday, Dr. Cook.
And that's all there is to it. His life's work ripped away just as casually as that, and now years later, our arrival forces them to work together. That is so cool. Like, the more we learn about these people, they appear as simple archetypes at first, and I don't know, it just adds so much complexity to those interactions as we go, as we unearth their backstory and as they're forced to continue their stories in the present day. We just heard the reconciliation, and then, only moments later, heard the past of what led to the need for that.
Driver, do you read me?
Driver, you passed through some sort of opening. We managed to hold it steady, but the energy expulsion is growing. We don't have much longer.
If you can hear this, you need to get back now.
Okay, but I'll be doing it on foot.
Look, the gang's back together.
Tobias?
I never told you how grateful I was that you stayed behind in the zone with me. These years, best of my life. Foraging for mushrooms, slogging through swamplands, combing through hours and hours of terrible field recordings. Not a single moment wasted. Thank you. It's for everything.
It was all you. You made me feel capable. That anything was possible. That I wasn't some second-rate scientist. All my happiness was thanks to you. And I'm afraid of how I'll survive without you.
I'm not. You got this. You always have. Hey, Oppie, Alan sends his regards. And he wants to know why you haven't taken his advice yet. Driver, is that a gumbaroo on your dash? No, I'll be damned. Bye. Until next time.
Tobias? Tobias!
Driver, if you can hear this, we can't keep the well stable for much longer. Wherever you are, come back.
They're not really gone. And with the way he's talking about it, like, maybe nobody is. Until next time, he seems pretty confident that we'll be reunited again, that everyone will. Maybe whatever that is, whatever state that is, maybe that wasn't created here. Maybe that just allows us to see it. Either way, if the guy who literally died isn't worried, well, I guess we have no reason to be either. Thank you, Well of Closure. I believe I can fly now. Look, there's even road signs urging us along. You turned your lights on for us in anticipation. Step on it. What is that up there? You know what? Doesn't matter.
Just a little longer. Hold steady, Francis. Keep those limb bases aligned. Not even a 0.001 deviation, you get me? I'm trying.
Whoa! Okay, we are in for a climax indeed. Alright, let's do this. Oh, but maybe this isn't instability, maybe this is just the new normal. Alright, let's go.
The anchor field is wobbling, Oppie. Anything we can do to stabilize things on your side?
Punching it as hard as I can.
Danger all around, but I have a feeling it shall not come nigh thee.
Francis, hold tight.
I can't. The phase, it's deep.
Driver, punch it. Go.
What do you think I'm doing? Here.
You made it back, driver. All in one piece, it looks like.
And no sign of the Remnant's energy signature anywhere in that car. You're free.
But the car's maintained its link to you. Fascinating. We'll never know how far the Remnant's obsessions wormed into your head, but you should be safe from it getting any worse. In theory.
Abby, I'm sorry. You didn't get to talk to Alan again.
We managed to pull off the near impossible. And the first thing you do is apologize?
Sorry.
Don't worry, it was Tobias's fault. He hogged the frequency all for himself yet again.
You heard him too.
I did. That means I didn't imagine that last conversation with Alan. And you know what else?
What?
That your theory was right. And Tobias called it. All that bluster, and he ended up showing us scientists a thing or two. Those moments we heard, they were all from the past. Being inside that well somehow allowed the Remnant to access those imprints and replay them. But Tobias's voice wasn't from the past, it was from somewhere else entirely.
But where? And how?
No clue. Do me a favor. Once you figure it out, don't bother telling me. I'm leaving the zone.
I'm sorry, what?
Alan came to tell me goodbye, and that I was forgiven 37 years ago. I didn't listen. So now, finally, I'm going to take his advice. I should have left the zone a long time ago.
But if we solve this, maybe there's a way to speak to him again.
I heard what I needed to hear. It only took me 37 years to listen. Anyway, all that sounds like a young scientist game. It's not for me anymore. Francis, you decide what to do from here. You can carry the torch and continue the research, or get out of this cursed place and find your own way. It's your decision. And driver, you're free now. You can do what you want from here. But if you'll allow an old woman one last hope, stay here with Francis. There's so many more stories for the zone to tell. And the both of you are young enough to listen. My ears are bad. And I refuse to hear them. I've removed all access restrictions to my systems, Francis. The helm is yours.
Wait, I don't know if I can do this alone.
You're not alone. You've got clear eyes, ears open to the impossible, and the driver. Dr. Cook, driver.
It's been a pleasure. This is Dr. Ophelia Turner. Signing off.
Abby? Abby! Really? Well, driver, if you don't mind sticking around with me, Abby was right. There's still so much of the zone that we still don't know about. But with your help, we can tell those stories. I'm no Abby, but I'll do the best I can. You're no longer bound to the car. But it stayed with you, and will continue to protect you as you travel the zone. Go on, then. As long as you're willing to drive, I'm along for the ride.
And I'm more than happy to have you. But that was Pacific Drive, and what an incredible game. Especially as it so defied my expectations for it. I mean, I was expecting something that would be so dark and bleak, like something like Stalker or Metro. And in the end, it was, well, really, it was exactly as dark as that, but it was the characters that allowed it to uplift itself. They weren't just there as a tutorial to guide us along, they're what made the discoveries in the zone mean something, that framed it up with context and made it clear what the actual human side of this was all about, which I feel like in any story you desperately need that. And like I said earlier, I really loved how our character was an active participant in that, not just a camera meant to follow them around and get their story through. It all meant something. Oh, wait, Alan was voiced by Dave Fennoy. That's the voice of Lee from The Walking Dead, the Telltale games. That's really cool. But God, what an experience. I mean, it's a game that is very much about the vibes. a game where you'll just be in your car listening to the radio, or hearing those phantom echoes on the wind, or driving through a storm, or taking shelter in like a tunnel. And it wants you to kind of stew in that. It wants you to feel that stuff. It doesn't want you to rush along. I think some of the difficulties that I had, especially early on, were because I was trying to rush through for the sake of getting things done in neat episodes. But if you're the kind of person who appreciates the cool air inside a car on a morning road trip, this is a game that makes you feel that if you let it. And you know, Oppie's right, there are still stories to tell, plenty of documents we didn't find. And I like how those were actually meaningful, actually reveal context and things that happened but you wouldn't get to see. And it just adds such a sense of wonder, a sense that this is a place that changes not just before our eyes, but over time, how things have come and gone. And there are so many mysteries that still don't have an answer, but we get the impression that someone may have answered it at some point, and that their story was every bit as incredible as ours. It's all just people passing through a crazy world, and, well, in the end, I guess we decided to stay. It's really cool how, in the end, we sort of found our calling, just like everyone else. We had the chance to leave, but the real draw, the insanity, so-called, of the remnants was the desire to know more. Just like the mailman who crawled into the pneumatubes, just like Oppie needing to make this mean something, just like Francis trying to prove his theories, and now us finding something that I guess made us feel more alive than being a delivery driver ever did. And if you like this series, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, where you can get early access to the next series, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one, just as soon as I get you fixed up again. I guess in my own way, I am the king.